All right, what's up, AJT fam? We had another decent morning. This week has been, pretty consistent. I know this is a Fed day, so to speak, but we got some pretty decent moves. For it being a Fed week, we got the CPI, PPI, inflation numbers come out. The market just digested it, and we didn't see a whole lot of apprehension. So that's pretty good. That's really pretty good. But before we move on, okay, this is another way. I'm gonna try as many ways as I can to get this through. Trading is one big head game. Alright, it's one big head game. Once you learn to play that game, it's no longer a game. Then it becomes trading. You become a trader. But if you're not able to master this head game, you'll never be a trader. You can call yourself that. Anybody can call themselves that. But you won't be a true trader. You will not be able to master the art and to actually make the money you should be making as a trader. So, you don't have to agree with me. A lot of people, don't, but then they come back if they're still in the game. And if they're humble enough to come back and say, hey, I need to get my head straight, because that's what's causing me not to do the things I need to do. And there's a lot of things that cause that, and we cover all of that in the trader mindset. So if you started and quit the last time, don't quit this time. Let's go through it, because the handful that stuck to it, did what they're supposed to do, are actually showing tremendous progress right now. And you've seen it. It's been an awesome change. So don't think any other way. Don't think trading is about finding the golden ticket or finding the goose that lays the golden eggs. It's not about that. It's all about what's in between those two ears of yours. All right, so let's take a look at our morning today. Let's see. Meta was our first trade, so we'll take a look at Meta first. Let's blow this up a little bit. So Meta was an aggressive entry. This is the first 5-minute candle. We broke the pre-market high, which you can see kind of lines up back here. It's a pre-market high. Got in, and this was the 5 minutes. We dipped a little bit, but my first target was the linear regression channel. This was my second target, and we barely missed it by like 1 cent. We barely missed it by 1 cent. And it pulled all the way back, stopped out at break even. Got a base hit. I should have had this offset just a little bit more. It's always smart to put your target 10 cents inside the window. I know it's a mental thing that it gets in your head, and it's like you want to hit the precise target because it makes you feel better. But it still hit the pivot. It still hit the level. The reason why you want to do it 10 cents, on the inside or the outside of it, is because most people put their orders there. And some people that have big orders, they need to start filling early. You can't put 10,000 shares right at the level. it's probably going to feel higher. So they start 10-15 cents early, and you want to make sure that you get hit. So this was more of a greed, ego type thing when you do that, but that's what cost me on that. But still a decent base hit. Still a really decent base hit. NVIDIA was next. So we missed the first breakout on NVIDIA. We got the pullback. I caught the second breakout. Got my profit target here. Didn't get to the second target. It kind of rolled over right here. And so I was stopping out at break even. Well, what happened was I was off 2 shares. So what it did is it filled that order and then went short 2 shares. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not, and this is stupid. Okay, I have to admit this rationalization was stupid now that you think about it. But what happened was I said, okay, I'm not going to spend a couple of dollars to take off a 2 share position. I'm going to wait, and if it sets up, I'm going to add and then, trade it to the short side. Well, guess what? I got in here once we took out the lows here and got under the 9. I got in, it bounced. So it almost took me out, and then it came back. I had to adjust my first target because the 20 had, come up some more. So hit my first target, and it's since bounced and taken me out at break even. And right now it's just been trading sideways. But you could see how it doesn't take much for stupid ideas to creep into your mind, and you convince yourself that it's a smart move. Okay, even though I made money on this is one of the dumbest moves I could ever make. But I convinced myself that it was smart. And the bad part is I made money on it, which might sneak it back into my brain again when I'm not looking. But that's NVIDIA. And the last trade we took was on Tesla, another short. Here Tesla broke down under the 50-day early. And remember, we were looking at this, and we were looking at Tesla from the 50-day down to the 200-day. This window right here is what, if you can look to the right, this is the daily chart, a piece of the daily chart. But this is what we were looking at right here. Okay? So we got in once it confirmed taking out the linear regression channel. It confirmed it, made a solid move down, got my first target, came all the way down, got my second target. This is a daily pivot. And there was another one under here at 228. Let's see. No, 226.54. But we didn't get there. It bounced off of this pivot, this daily pivot, and it stopped me out. Once I take profit 2 times, instead of, like, when I take profit here, my stop goes to break even. When I take profit here, my stop goes to my first target. So it in essence is a profit stop, and that's where that was. So the question I got yesterday, and we'll cover this real quick since we're done with the recap, is how do I find the levels? How do I find my profit targets? And my profit targets are defined by the levels of support and resistance. So the first level of support I run into under the LRC, which was the level that my entry was triggered by, is down here, 228.18. Okay, so this is a pretty big window for you to take profit. Now here's how I deal with some of the anxiety that I get. I know sitting here holding this, especially this time of day after 11 o'clock, all the way down to 228, and not take profit along the way is going to be very stressful. It's going to create emotions and things. I know this. So I'm going to pick a spot halfway between that. If we start to get hung up around that spot, I'm going to take profit, and that's where this is. And that's why I took profit here. It makes me be able to stay in the trade longer and realize the full profit potential of the move. Now, yes, I'm not going to make as much as if I left the whole shares on till it got to that move. But how many times do we get to our final target? Not often. Here, we didn't get to our final target. So it only makes sense to take profit at strategic places along the way. And my profit targets are going to be based on levels of support or resistance, depending on which way we're trading. And they all come from, let's say 98% come from the daily chart. And it's been working since day one. 12 years ago when I first started, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was learning then. But when I learned it, it started working then. It was working then. It's still working now. We've had levels like VWAP come and go in terms of its importance, or place in the day trading world. But the daily levels, the daily pivots are, to me, it's like they're here to stay. So that's where I get my my levels from. So on Tesla, you saw where I got that. On Meta, the first trade of the day, we're looking at the opening range break. The aggressive entry over the pre-market high. Where's my first target? Right here. This is from the 60-minute chart. This is the linear regression channel. Where is the second target? This daily pivot here. And I told you why it didn't hit here. I was being ignorant or greedy, and I missed the profit here. But I would have been able to take profit here had I put my order right. So, here, this is where I was able to, I was able to pick my targets before we even got in. And what that does is it lets me know whether I'm getting into does the risk reward look good? Okay, that's what real traders do. They don't get in a trade and say, I'm looking for 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, and not know where the daily levels are. That's why I say, when you're advanced in your risk management, you're going to start letting the chart tell you where to take profit, where your stop should be. And if your stop is too far out of whack for where your profit targets are, you don't take the trade. It's just that simple. And very few trades are going to make it the full pull. So you want to have strategic levels where you can take profit as the stock is moving in your direction. All right, so that was Meta. Yeah, we did Tesla, and then, NVIDIA. Where did we find, um, levels on NVIDIA? We had 487. That was the next daily pivot. We were over the LRC. Or, hold on, let me see. I can't remember. NVIDIA. I think we might have been at the LRC and I just didn't mark it. This thing is slow as Christmas now. It's slow as Christmas. No, I think it might have adjusted some. But second target was 487.62. You can't see it right now. But this was the next daily level. That's just up here. That's where the second target was. But we got stuffed here, pulled back. And then on my shorts, I used the intraday to tell me the best place to take profit. And that's my reversal strategy. We take profits at the intraday levels. So I hope that explains everything. Where we find it. And I try, as we're trading, here in the live stream, I try to make sure I let you know where I'm finding the levels, where they're coming from. Where is this daily pivot located? Where is that daily pivot located? Is it kind of a sneaky or a ghost pivot sitting in there? So you're able to pick your own stocks, build your own watch list based on your criteria, find your own profit targets, and trade. And that's what I'm seeing a handful of you guys doing, and you're nailing it. You're becoming traders. And as a teacher, as a mentor, it's a beautiful thing. It only takes one to make, everything I do worthwhile. So you guys keep up the good work, and I'll keep on putting in and giving 120, and let's make this work.